Thank you for staying with us. We still have with us our panelists on the Google Plus Hangout, of course, from various parts of the world joining us. But let me come to you, Tade, to get us continuing this conversation, of course. So if we agree that to some extent debates actually influence what voters do, and to some extent, again, it doesn't have that influence. So what, apart from debates, influence people to vote on election day?
The subject of vote buying, which is obviously another sort of parameter or indication or factor which determines the winner of an election. Just to go back a little bit, just like Victor said earlier on, um, just to add a little bit to the point he made,
Yeah.
and that's why I said I agree to some extent earlier. Now, when you see that even the politicians themselves do not attend the debate, I mean, when they don't attend the debate, that alone sends a message. That alone tells you that, as far as they are concerned, the debate might not be very important, which
So,
means
so,
that
so again,
they do have some other
a-
backup plans.
again,
Sorry?
what is important? What influences
Yes, so,
voters?
so so that tells you that they have some backup plans. There are other things to them which are important. For example, vote buying. This is an obvious, fact that politicians do. We've carried out a research and we found out that people vote, Nigerians vote for a party that is ready to buy to give them money. So people are ready to sell their votes. That's what we found out. A larger percentage of Nigerian population will vote for a party that is ready to offer them either a material benefit or any form of inducement, just to buy. So definitely, vote buying is another factor which determines the outcome of an election. So whether you attend the debate or not, whether you are credible or not, whether you are competent or not, as long as you can, buy vote, there's a very high chance that the probabilities are higher that you win the election. So vote buying is also one. Sentiment also is another factor. Sentiment is one, as well as this tribalism and clan connections.
All right.
And of
Yeah.
course the idea of zoning and rotation. So there are so many other parameters we need to put
Even
into
out.
consideration looking at that angle.
Victor, I mean, let me bring you back into the conversation. I mean, this certainly doesn't really sound good from the analysis that Tade is given. But so, what can we do now to stop these, to make these no longer, issues that we should be looking at when we have national elections in the future? Quickly.
Well, like I said, we are talking about two things: what is, and then the next question you're asking me is what should be. The hope is that, of course, over time, this debate will begin to have meaning. But of course, you know that people live by value systems, and you cannot bring to someone what does not correlate with his value system and expect him to make his decisions based on that. So if we would want to improve things, we would need, of course, a whole shift of paradigm in the current value system of Nigerians now, which is especially for immediate aggrandizement. Nigerians must learn how to have what is called delayed gratification. The immediate gratification doesn't work. So a lot has to be done with the value system of the average Nigerian. And of course, literacy is a whole lot. Imagine
So,
explaining
does are you saying that the government needs to do a lot more, or the NOA, which is part of the government, or
the National
civil?
Orientation Agency, and
Yeah.
which is of course a part of the government, needs to do a lot more. So it would seem that even maybe
What
illiteracy is a
about
weapon of
what
the
what about
elite
what about
against.
what about the citizen? What about the citizen's responsibility to educate his
Yeah,
next
the
door neighbor?
citizen responsibility is it comes in the place of you and I understanding that if people who do not understand politics begin to continue to decide our future, then we will all bear the consequence. So the place of your responsibility now is to be able to educate the people around you about why they must have certain values and must use such values to decide who they vote for. And of course, that responsibility is on all of us who understand one thing or the other that our neighbors may not. So of course, it doesn't. The fact that there's a city responsibility does not rule out what government and the National Orientation Agency too must do. And of course, and that's why this platform is here. And I'm very glad you've given us the opportunity to be able to speak out. And those who are hearing us now can know that we must educate our brothers and sisters so that they can change their value system. Vote buying only works because it is controlled by the value system of the people that the votes are being bought for. So of course, a lot of education has to go into place, literacy, and in fact, most especially political literacy, because it's as though the average Nigerian does not know it is politics that determines policies.
Well, so talking about policies, let me bring in Godi quickly. Just wrap this conversation for us. Talking about policies, do we need maybe the National Assembly to put in legislation, in terms of curbing or punishing those who sell votes during elections or something, in terms of just trying to see that debates make more sense at least, or make more people, or make people to make up their minds during elections? I think your mic is on mute. Can you do that? Unmute that. Yeah,
Yes.
good. Good.
Okay.
And
So
quickly,
I would
please.
say that probably these, if the laws are not already there in the electoral act, or if it's not there, then it should be at this moment. I think that I'll go as far as saying that we have to really think about how we want our country to be, because we have mended our laws, our electoral laws, and now we got to this stage or situation where we begin to see that we don't know about the candidates until late, the real candidates until late into the election period.
Yeah.
If you look at, for example, what is happening now in America, how many people have already declared in the last 3 weeks that they are going to run for candidates in the election in the next presidential cycle election they have? We have to have that possibility, and I know that we have, because of ideologies, a lot of the candidates are not really sure if they want to be in one party or the other.
All
so
right,
they
Godi.
have no real ideology that can actually make them to stand up to begin to talk
Godi.
about the things that, yes.
I mean, I wish we could go on, but I've been told we are running out of time. But I have to say thanks for joining us on the program. You joined us from Prague and Czech Republic. Godi Wogu, thanks once again for joining us on the program, as well as Victor Bamishaye from Lviv in Ukraine. Thanks as well for joining us on the program, of course, and Tidy Omotoshaw from Warsaw in Poland. Thanks as well for being part of the program and sharing your thoughts. But that's where we are, and we'll take a break, and we'll be back with the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. Please stay with us.
We invite Mr. President to please step forward to address our people.
This week's most viewed videos begins with the presidential rally of the APC in Owerri, the Imo State capital.
I assure you that the government will continue to support you.
It is followed by the presidential debate organized by the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria and the Nigeria Election Debate Group.
If you do not forgive men their sins, your Father will not forgive you.
A message from former President Obasanjo about whom Nigerians should vote for in the coming presidential elections comes in third.
But I believe and I wish and I urge that majority of those who will vote in Nigeria will vote for him.
Let's start. Does the president have the power to suspend the CJN?
Second spot is taken by the stance of legal luminary Mike Ozekome on the suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria.
He does not have the power, whether on an ex parte order or on a motion on notice or even on a court judgment, because the powers of appointment and suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria are matters that are governed by the clear provisions of the Constitution.
While the most viewed video in the past week is that of presidential spokesman Garba Shehu and the senior advocate of Nigeria on the suspension of Justice Walter Onogan.
As it stands right
Well, there you go. Those were the most viewed videos on our YouTube channel in the past week. However, debates no doubt have come to stay, whether candidates appear or not. Hopefully, a time will come where factors responsible for the nonchalant attitude of candidates towards debates will no longer count. And on that note, we'll wrap it up on this edition of the program. Do remember to send your comments and contributions to the social media addresses showing on your screen, as that's where we continue the conversation. Bye for now. I'm Victor Matthias.